holidays, everyone, or Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas, Kwanzaa. What's the one from Seinfeld?
Festivus. Happy Festivus for the rest of us. It was 2 days ago.
It was 2 days ago.
23rd.
Happy Hanukkah. Whatever you guys celebrate this holiday season, welcome to Real Shame. It's a twice, sometimes more, a week show where we review movies from our movie list shame or movie blind spots, and we're coming at you with a bonus episode because today there's a lot of Christmas movies and there's some that we haven't seen, so we figured we'd deliver one to you today. I'm Adam.
I'm Andy.
All right, what do we get ourselves into today, Andy?
So somehow through some weird thing you've never seen, It's a Wonderful Life. But right? Is that you've never seen it all the way through?
I've never seen any of it.
You've never seen any of it.
I saw.
You had to have seen pieces of it.
I saw the one clip that was in Bruce Almighty.
I don't know what that was.
The last of the moon.
Oh, okay.
Like literally, that was it.
I've not seen.
How have you not? It's shown on TV, or like all the times it's shown on TV, you've never seen snatches of it.
I think it was just because it was black and white. I never wanted to watch it.
Oh, honey.
I mean, I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying, that's what happened.
Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight? Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight?
Dance by the light of the moon. What'd you wish when you threw that rock?
Oh, no.
Come on, tell me.
If I told you, it might not come true.
What is it you want, Barry? What do you want? You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down. Hey, that's a pretty good idea. I'll give you the moon, Barry.
I'll take it. Then what?
Well, then you could swallow it. And it'd all dissolve, see? And the moonbeams would shoot out of your fingers and your toes and the ends of your hair. Am I talking too much?
Yes. Why don't you kiss her instead of talking her to death?
How's that?
Why don't you kiss her instead of talking her to death?
Want me to kiss her, huh?
Oh, youth is wasted on the wrong people.
Well, anyway, but you've fixed that now. You've seen now you've watched it.
I have bad news for you. I didn't watch it. No.
Oh, okay. Well, then this will be all me talking about me, Herbie talking about it for the next 30 minutes or whatever. No, but you finally saw It's a Wonderful Life. Before you talk about what you thought of it, I will talk about a little bit of the history of, maybe not the movie itself, but Frank Capra, the director, and who is in the movie itself. So it's adapted from the story The Greatest Gift. That story came out in 1943. It's a Wonderful Life came out 3 years later in 1946, the tail end of 1946, December to be exact. Directed, again, by Mr. Frank Capra. He began his career as a director in the 1920s. He went nuts in the 30s and directed all kinds of good movies, like It Happened One Night. That happens to be the first movie that was a winner in what's considered the Big Five Oscar categories: Best Director, Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Screenplay.
It won all five?
It won all five. Either Best Original or Best Adapted. It's the first film to win all five. A lot of movies have been nominated for all five. It's the first movie to win all five. The next movie that would win all five was, anybody?
Godfather?
1970s?
Titanic.
Not Titanic. Jack Nicholson, 70s. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is the next movie that won the Big Five. And then there's one more movie that's won the Big Five. It came out in the early 90s.
Titanic.
Nope, early 90s. 91 to be exact.
Forrest Gump. That's 94.
Patient? No.
What'd you say?
English Patient?
No. Silence of the Lambs. Those are the only three movies that have won the Big Five Oscars, but It Happened One Night was the first one. Anyway, a little trivia for you. Then he did You Can't Take It With You with Mr. Jimmy Stewart. He did Mr. Smith Goes to Washington with Mr. Jimmy Stewart. He did Meet John Doe. Then World War II came along. During World War II, he did a whole series of films called the Why We Fight series, which is all about why we fight, why we're doing this, why we're fighting the Nazis in World War II. And then after World War II is over in 1946, he does It's a Wonderful Life. He was a 6-time Oscar winner. He died in 1991 at the ripe old age of 94, but he left behind a big legacy of a lot of films and a lot of really enduring classics. It's a Wonderful Life itself stars, of course, Mr. Jimmy Stewart, Jimmy Stewart, Miss Donna Reed. Lionel Barrymore plays the evil Mr. Potter, who's basically the Scrooge character for this film. Thomas Mitchell plays forgetful, absent-minded Uncle Billy. Henry Travers plays the angel Clarence. Ward Bond is the cop. That's Bert, right? Ernie's the cab driver. Yeah. And then Gloria Graham plays Violet, Sexpot Violet.
Violet Beck.
Yes.
Beck.
But yeah, so that's the movie, that's the cast, that's the director, that's all that stuff. But obviously, this is a movie that been around, a long time. A lot of people have seen it. It actually fell into the public domain for a little while. That sort of thing doesn't really happen much anymore because our copyright law is so screwy. But it did fall into the public domain for a while. So basically, in the 1970s and 1980s, it was shown all the time on TV because I remember as a kid seeing it all the time on TV and basically grew up with this movie. But it was reversed from being in the public domain in the 1990s. I forget what company, but they argued that they had a right to the movie. So now it's only shown, I think, by NBC around the holiday season. I think that's the only network that actually has the rights to show it. But yeah, back in the day, this was shown by all kinds of networks because they could, right?
Yeah.
I think they did still have to pay a small royalty fee because of the book or the story, The Greatest Gift, but still they didn't have to pay much. So if you turned on your television set in the 1980s, late 1970s, and it was Christmas time, you probably saw at least a little bit of It's a Wonderful Life. I know I did. I saw it. I saw lots of bits and pieces of this movie for the longest time, and then I finally saw the entire thing when I got, probably in high school or something like that. But yeah, I've seen it. I can't even. This may be the movie that I've seen the most. I mean, I have no idea, but I've seen it countless amounts of times, but you have never seen it.
Not until last night.
Not until last night. It's fresh on your mind then.
Fresh on my mind.
So drum roll, I guess. I don't know. What do we need? Give us some thoughts. Give us some feedback.
So is It's a Wonderful Life wonderful? Yes. I'm gonna say this is the first Pixar movie, and the reason why I say that is because I feel like Pixar does great human-centric stories with a bit of whimsy to it, right? And that's exactly,
whimsy.
And that's exactly what this movie is. You have a little bit of magical, a little bit of whimsy with the angels, but man, that human story is amazing. It's awesome. It's a really, really good movie.
Yeah.
I can understand why so many people like this movie and love this movie. I did read that when it was released, it was kind of a bomb, right? And not a lot of people liked it, and it kind of found its way through the years and through being in the public domain, playing all the time, I guess. People were browbeat into liking the movie. But yeah, no, the movie is awesome. It's magical. I really like the story. I like, how you get to see all aspects of his life and stuff like that. I do kind of wish at the end that Mr. Potter got his comeuppance a little bit, because he seems to kind of skate away free, at least as we see in the movie. Mm-hmm. But I do like that ending. I just wish that something would have happened to him or something like that. Maybe he would have fell off the bridge or something like that. Got hit by a car. The
guy was like pushing him, and he's like, bam.
Like
Final Destination, like just bam.
Crazy uncle's like undoing one of those strings and then just careens him over. That he still has the money in his pocket. He takes it out, and all is right in the world. Why can't we have that? No, but that's me going. I no, the movie's really awesome. I think Jimmy Stewart does an amazing job. Donna Reed's great. I think they're all really awesome. My favorite parts of the movie is when James Stewart is courting Mary.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah,
like that. How affable he is and how silly he is, and all that kind of stuff is just like, he's amazing in that stuff.
Yeah,
and I think that is like the coolest, most fun part of the movie, and that's where we spend a lot of time in the movie too. So, yeah, I really like this movie for sure.
Well, I'm glad that you like it, and I assume you like it too.
Oh, I love it, and it was so cool to watch it with him for the first time.
Yeah.
I wasn't as stoic as I was with Kong.
But it was like just the things that like I was like, oh, I hope he laughs at this. Like, he was like when they're doing the Charleston, they're backing up and they're almost flying in, and he just like laughing, and he, when he's like when Jimmy Stewart's like, oh, I should kiss her, huh? Like when they're courting, the guy's like, why don't you kiss her instead of talking to her? I mean, like that is like that's.
Yeah.
I just love
youth
that.
is wasted on the young, or he
Yeah.
says something like that.
Yeah, he does. He
And
does.
then when the guy at the bridge like reacts to his everything Clarence is saying, he like almost falls over, then he falls over, then he leaves.
Yeah.
Adam was just like rolling, but like no, it's such a wonderful movie.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say that.
I think
I was going to say the same thing. I was like, I hate to be that guy, but I'm going to say it. It is a wonderful movie. Yeah.
I do think like I mean I could pick some nits with it, and there are
No,
some,
you can't.
I can't.
No, you
No, I won't.
No.
No, there are some
Yeah.
stuff like I think he would have caught on a little bit earlier. Like whenever the angel said you don't exist, I think he would have caught up to that a little bit faster than he did. Because he kept on.
Yeah, he was like at Nick. Wait, you don't know me? No, you don't know.
Yeah. It's like I thought he would have caught on.
I don't know if if you put yourself in that situation. I mean, I feel like it would be hard to believe. Like,
I mean, I would think as soon as the bar is different, and as soon as like you meet like two people that don't know you, I'd be like, I mean, obviously this is not realistic. You'd be like, maybe this guy knows what he's talking about. You know what I mean? Oh,
no.
I mean, maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, no.
So I mean, it's just awesome. Like I do like the Charleston scene where they're dancing. The floor is receding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And apparently that's a real place, and that is a floor that really does that.
Yeah, schools used to have that.
And that's so cool. I like how he like, he's like a very generous person, right? Because he like sees like there's this way to kind of like, there's a better opportunity for his brother, and he can like kind of help out his community by staying in and taking on this kind of family business, that might not make him, might not fulfill his wildest dreams, but he's kind of like selfless in that manner and able to do that. And, by doing that, like he raises the community, right? He lifts up his brother. His brother becomes like a war hero. I mean, that's what this whole movie's about, right?
Yeah.
Is he sees all the impact that he kind of has. So, and just all that kind of stuff is really cool. And, I mean, obviously the ending is amazing because it's a mirror of, whenever the stock market dropped and everyone was doing those run on the banks, right?
Yeah.
And trying to get their money out because they didn't think the banks were gonna ever have money again. That's before, we had FDIC insurance and all that kind of stuff on the banks. But it's a great mirror to that. And, he kind of relied on the community to help him out and help support him. And then
it's all come full circle,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
And, he sees the impact that he made. So it's very like, it's hard not to get like emotional thinking about it a little bit.
Yeah, no, totally.
So it's just a very cool, very genuine story. Again, I wish like, maybe like Clarence like pushed Potter off the bridge like on the way out or something like that.
Well,
he got his wings
you can make
and
a
just dropped it
sequel
there.
where that happens. You can make a sequel.
Yeah.
You know what? Ryan Murphy did the Ratchet. Of course, that's a prequel, I guess. But you could do a Potter sequel or something. I don't know where Potter gets what's coming to him.
So I mean,
His fist.
there's a lot of really great stuff. The making up the house, the fact that Mary, she knows from the moment she sees him that she wants to marry him,
Mm-hmm.
and she whispers in his bad ear, and then the fact that she's like basically a superwoman in this movie because she's raising like he's working all hours.
Mm-hmm.
She's raising, was it 4 kids, 5 kids?
4
kids, and then also renovating
Mm-hmm.
the house, which if you've lived through a house renovation, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome. So, I mean, what are some of your favorite moments of this? I've been going on. What are some of your favorite moments of this movie?
Everything.
Everything.
Well, yeah, no. So, like, I'm not gonna go crazy as I did like on the movie, like Don't Look Now. I think I said a lot about that, but no. I mean, I literally, I think I could talk about this movie all day. I've seen it so many times, but it's like every single time that I watch it, I still feel really good. I mean, it's the kind of movie like Singing in the Rain. It just makes me feel good. It makes me feel uplifted. It's like I watch it. So what I find so interesting about this movie is that it is known as a Christmas movie, and I don't disagree with the fact that it's a Christmas movie, but I feel like you can watch it at any time of the year because much of the movie doesn't take place at Christmas time. It's really that climax because it climaxes at Christmas Eve. That's when he is despondent. That's when Billy has lost the money and he's thinking about doing himself in, and Clarence comes in, and that's the other thing. It's kind of set up. I feel like it's almost like 2 different movies. You've got the movie that's just about his life. and what he has done for the community and how he has helped them. And then you've got the kind of more supernatural kind of thing element to it, with the angel coming down and helping him. But they work beautifully together. Like it's not, I don't say that as a negative. I think that's awesome. Like that you've got this movie. If it was just a movie about his life and kind of what he has done for the community and how he has been a selfless person and helped other people, I feel like the movie would be awesome just on its own. But then you stick in the kind of almost like a Twilight Zone-esque, portion of it. I think it makes it, even more awesome. Like I feel like those two work beautifully together. The other thing about it is like, so I've seen, Frank Capra's, at least his big films, like It Happened One Night and You Can't Take It With You and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington and stuff like that. And he is like the king of, Americana kind of movies and Norman Rockwell-esque. And, sometimes his movies come under criticism for being too sentimental or being too, it's too Norman Rockwell-esque or it's too idyllic. Real life isn't like that. But I say, screw you. Like, those people are too cynical. I feel like this is not the kind of movie I feel like to nitpick and go, oh, well, it should be more realistic and we should have this. Forget it. No, I mean, I want to see this kind of movie once in a while. I want to see a movie where you do have, good people doing good things for each other. And yes, you have the evil Mr. Potter who, walks all over people trying to get ahead. What is there a bug over there?
No, I'm trying to see if the camera's recording.
Oh,
I don't know if it is.
Yeah, it's recording.
Yeah, it's recording.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, false alarm.
We'll leave in the podcast. Sorry.
But no, I love how Frank Capra. I love like the family feel of the whole movie, and again, I feel like the movie is just perfectly cast. Like I can't think of a single person in the movie that does a bad job or that I wish would have been played by somebody else or something like that. All these characters are wonderful. I mean, even Mr. Potter, Lionel Barrymore is wonderful as Mr. Potter. His character sucks. I mean, he's the crotchety old rich guy that wants to buy everybody out and wants to own everything and keep people in the slums or whatnot. But he does a great job.
And that's
as
really hard
Mr.
to
Potter.
imagine nowadays, huh?
I know. Well, no, I believe me. I watched it last night too, and despite the fact that I've seen it plenty of times, it's not lost on me that there's definitely a lot of similarities to today.
And the stuff that happens to the drugstore owner's son,
Mr.
Gower. I mean, it's from the Spanish influenza, because that takes place like right around the same time.
Oh yeah, 1918.
Influenza. It's like we picked not ideal time, but it's very interesting, like how prescient that's the right word, right?
Prescient.
This movie is nowadays.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm always struck by, again, kind of the themes of this movie. So I wrote down like a bullet list or whatever here. But you have, obviously, the importance of having friends and family that support you or whatever. And I think, one of the best lines in the movie is when Harry, his brother, comes in and says, to my brother George, the richest guy in town. Because, again, measuring your self-worth by how many cars you have or how much money you have or whatever is probably not the best measure of self-worth. And then, I think this movie kind of demonstrates that one of the best measures of self-worth is the altruism you show, the times that you help people or whatever. And so, I feel like that is a lesson that we could always learn from, especially in 2020.
Yeah, for sure.
The impact that we have on each other's lives. And the other thing I like about the movie is that I think it demonstrates that, a lot of people, they have big aspirations and they want to go out and travel the world and they want to go out and see everything and they want to be this big shot or they want to do this, that, and the other thing. And George Bailey obviously wants to do that. He doesn't get to do it. Like you said, he kind of lets his brother do all that stuff. His brother becomes the football hero. His brother becomes the war hero and all that stuff. So his brother gets all the accolades, but that doesn't diminish what George is doing back at home, in Bedford Falls. So I love all of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you can argue like George has probably done more because his brother Harry, all the stuff he's done is kind of like for himself, right? I don't think he does it selfishly, but it's all stuff that makes him look better and that helps his star shine more. But everything George does is just raise like everyone else around him, right? And bring him up. So I would say that's probably even better, even though he doesn't see it. And you don't. It's one of those things like you don't know the impact you have on people's lives.
Exactly.
Right? You can't see the forest through the trees, right?
Yeah.
We all have a very myopic view on us and our life and what we do, and it takes stuff like. And it's interesting that I paired the Christmas Carol right before this because it's kind of similar stories where you have a main character just kind of has to take this look at their whole life as a whole to kind of understand, what it's about, what everything's about,
Yep.
So it's a very awesome Christmassy movie.
Yep. Absolutely.
I was just surprised the writing it felt like it's such a classic movie, but it just felt so like modern. I don't know,
Yeah.
like, it feels so modern. Like, and I think so much of that is probably like in Jimmy Stewart's delivery, just like why don't you put annoying people and just it's like just he says he's just so sharp.
He's so great. Yeah.
It's so sharp that it just seems like it just wasn't. It's not that old, right?
Yeah.
Like because it's just.
Yeah.
And
it's snappy.
And in my head, I was thinking like, who could do this in modern? I just can't land on anyone that I think could be as maybe like I don't even know. I don't know what actor could do this. Could ask a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Jimmy Stewart is perfect. It's just this kind of everyman kind of guy. He stays there in Bedford Falls. He's always itching to get out. He's always right there on the cusp of going on vacation, going on honeymoon, going and doing this, and something always happens to keep him there. But again, I mean, he looks at his father. His father is, like put down by Mr. Potter or whatever. But they're obviously cut from the same cloth, and they're the same kind of person. They're somebody they don't care about getting rich by stepping all over other people like Mr. Potter does. They don't care if they make a dime as long as they help these people out, as long as they put a roof over these people's heads and get them out of Mr. Potter's slums and all that stuff. And, I love it. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm interested about this note.
What's the note?
The bird.
Oh, okay. So, So for years, I've always heard that because there's two characters in this movie named Bert and Ernie, and I'd always heard that the Bert and Ernie from the Sesame Street was named after this Bert and Ernie. But according to what I looked at, it's not true.
It is true.
I know. According to Jim Henson, it's just a coincidence. It was just a coincidence.
Right.
I'm just saying. I know. No, I know. I've heard that legend for years that Bert and Ernie, the names came from this movie.
I think I even said that to
you can
Adam
still
while we
believe
were
that,
watching it.
but
I was like, did you know? Blah, 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 blah.
according to what I read, it's just a coincidence.
So it's on the Jim Henson note. So I feel like this show impacted so much of just like there's from Muppet Babies. There is a clip when he goes, "This is a very interesting situation," and I remember when I was, that young, seeing that Muppet Babies episode, and me being like, "Hey, yo," I was like, "Mom, what's this?" And she's like, "Oh, watch it at Christmas." And it was like that was because they had like Star Wars stuff in there. I mean, they had like all kinds of stuff in Muppet Babies, and so I remember like the moment because I just was like, "Why is this guy dressed like an old school football player holding a robe?" And like, who is this? Like,
and how awesome is that scene too, where he's just like playful and she's like hiding in the bushes and stuff.
In the hydrangea.
In the hydrangea. I mean, that's like again, I think it's so many aspects of this movie are just timeless.
Yeah.
It's just like it takes place and when it does, but it doesn't feel that old.
Yeah.
And
I mean, when she's like, "I'll call the police," and he's like, "Oh, they'd side with me." It doesn't come off sleazy at all.
No.
It just comes off like like it's just.
No, yeah, you brought that up with them at the dance doing the Charleston and stuff. Every scene in this movie for me is awesome. Like I there's not a single thing about this movie that I dislike, honestly, and I really, really do mean that. But I love that part at the dance. I love when he first sees her, when he first sees Donna Reed, and the camera is on a close-up on her face, and you can just see the love that she has for him, and you can see the love that he has for her. And then, when they're doing the Charleston, they're getting dangerously close to the edge of the pool. And I also love the fact that her original date, or the guy that she's with, is the guy that was Alfalfa in The Little Rascals.
I didn't know
Yes,
that.
it's Alfalfa. He's a little grown up. Yeah. Why don't you stop annoying people? He's like, "I'm sorry. Hey, wait a minute." He starts to think about it. But
the hee-haw?
That's
no, it's not the hee-haw guy.
No. The Alfalfa just plays a little. Alfalfa opens up the pool.
Okay,
he and the other guy have the key or whatever that open up the pool. That's the only part that he has.
Hee-haw.
Sam Wainwright, hee-haw. But no, that whole sequence at the dance, and then after the dance when they're walking down the street and everything. I wrote down their playfulness with each other. I love it. It is magical. I love it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
And then, oh man, how awesome is it that they're friends? Like, he couldn't go on the honeymoon. you know, because they basically gave away the money.
They give their money to the people.
And
right?
then, like, you know, they pulled all these sides that kind of like make over this ramshackle of a.
He loved that.
So
It's awesome.
and they're singing to him.
It's great, and he kisses him, and he's just like, oh, and he hits him on the head, burnt nerdy.
He pushes him in the room.
Yes.
When
Yes.
he's like, go, like, come on, like he's got to cross the threshold into husbandhood. And he like gets him in the room with her.
So
I like how the guy's like hand there for a tip. He just tips his hat and like water.
Yes. I love a lot of the humor in it because it's raining a lot. And the guy's like, yeah, we got to get the bridal suite ready. And the one guy's like, what are they, ducks? Like, because there's so much water. I mean, it's just, there's so many good lines in it, in addition to it just being a wonderful fantasy. It's funny, it's heartwarming, it's just fantastic.
Yeah.
And this is not the first time you guys have brought up the character Violet on this show.
It's not?
You guys brought her up at some point because I remember you were telling a fact about someone.
Oh, you mean we brought up Gloria Graham, like the actress?
Yes.
Yeah, because she's the one that was married to Nicholas Ray.
Yes.
Who did Rebel Without a Cause. And do I need to say it? She was found in bed with his son. And so that led to a divorce, and then she ended up marrying him. I mean, it was not her son. It was her stepson.
But I remember that.
But they ended up marrying, yeah.
Oh, Mrs. Robertson.
Well, that's the moment I realized Adam hadn't seen it because you said, "Oh, she's in a Wonderful Life." I go, "Is she the? You should see how I look." Like, and I was like, "And what's that?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Yeah. So it was funny the whole time watching.
I also love when he does get his wish and he's never been born. How Bedford Falls transforms into Pottersville and it's like Sin City. Yeah. It's just like dance, gamble. But that is exactly what Mr. Potter would do. Yeah. He knows there's money in Vice, right? He's gonna take your gambling money. He's gonna take your money that you go to look at the ladies or whatever. I mean, he's gonna take all that stuff. He's greedy. Yeah. So I don't find that odd at all. I thought it was kind of funny. Or I think it's funny.
And he's gonna have a successful business taking wheelchairs and adding high back wooden chairs to them. Because like when he goes to the when he realizes that he's got the money from Uncle Billy, that's when the first time I think you see like his entire wheelchair. And I was like, wait a minute, because I was expecting like this old wooden like I don't know Civil War era thing, but it was like a metal wheelchair with like that throne back attached. It was just so wonderful.
Yeah,
and I love that Jimmy Stewart insults his like wheelchair pusher guy.
That
goes for you too.
This is a movie that like Gone with the Wind. I could watch like special features on this movie all day long. I could watch making ofs, featurettes, behind the scenes, deleted scenes, documentaries on it, everything. And I'd never get bored. Like I absolutely find this stuff fascinating. I do.
A movie we all three love.
Yeah,
so that's not the first.
It's not the first. It's
not the last.
So is it going to become a Christmas staple?
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that definitely happening.
Yes.
Good. You're like, yes. I'm making the decision.
Yes.
It's gonna be
I'm making a decision now.
Listen, it's like our third Christmas and he's finally seen it, so I'll take it.
Well, I watched Holiday Inn. So I'm making my way through the classics.
He did the other day when he was putting up some old DVDs, and he came on. It happened one night. He goes, "Oh, is this any good?" And I was like, "We'll talk about it later," because I knew we were watching this.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a lot of great Christmas movies. I mean, Holiday Inn. I think It's a Wonderful Life is just in a class by itself. It's just amazing.
So
Stellar.
We know it wasn't well received when it came out, but it seems like, over its life, it's had a lot of influences. It's appeared a lot of pop culture. What have critics said since then? What are critics saying now?
It found its audience when it was in public domain on television all the time. It definitely found me. But it was number 20 on the most recent AFI list, with the one that came out in 2007. It was higher than that on the one that came out in 98. I don't remember exactly the position, but their list of 100 years, 100 movies or whatever that they did. It's number 20 on their the most recent list was 2007. They haven't done I think they should update that. I don't know.
Yeah, and I remember we got in a big debate at school about that list, and there was a massive movement. Like, we discussed the list, and it should be higher. I think there was we were just like having this really open discussion with like the board of AFI talking about why was that not in the top 10.
Yeah.
And they really didn't have a good reason.
Yeah, I wish I would have written down what it was on the original list. I don't remember. Was it in the top 10 then? I don't know. But it's not in the top 10 now.
Maybe we can do some fast Googling while we close everything
Yeah, but yeah, it got bumped to number 20. Let's hope if they update this list, it doesn't fall down further the list, because I don't think it should. It was nominated for 5 Oscars, and it won a big goose egg. It won none of those. But I think I saw that it won some kind of technical achievement Oscar, because they came up with a new way to make snow for the movie.
Yeah.
That they apparently still use some kind of slight variation of today, from what I understand.
It was like they historically used like cornstarch, and it was very loud,
crunchy,
so they couldn't record audio in sync. So this one is some kind of like water foam hybrid. Is from what I read.
Well, it looks good. The movie that
it was filmed in July.
Yeah, it was right. It's filmed during the summer. But the movie that did win, so it came out in 1946. It was released like in December of 1946. It didn't get a wide release until 1947. So it technically could have been eligible to be nominated for that year's Academy Awards, but they decided to make it eligible for 1946 instead of 1947. Some people say that hurt it, because it had stiffer competition at the Oscars for 1946. It would have had a lesser competition for 1947, but we'll never know. 1947, incidentally, that's when Miracle on 34th Street came out. The Natalie Wood Christmas movie, where she's a little girl.
Never seen it.
Santa Claus gets put on trial.
Does he really?
Yeah, he does. He goes to court. They throw the book at him. But the movie that did win Best Picture over It's a Wonderful Life is The Best Years of Our Lives. And some say because that is a movie about veterans returning home from World War II. Some people say because that was obviously fresh on people's minds, because this was right after the war, it struck a chord more with people than It's a Wonderful Life did. But whatever. It's a Wonderful Life has had a couple of remakes, like very loose remakes, and some movies that feature a similar premise, obviously. And it had a made-for-TV sequel that came out in 1990, starring Robert Carradine. Yes, Robert Carradine from Revenge of the Nerds. He plays Clarence Oddbody.
Oh man!
Yeah, he plays Clarence, obviously a younger Clarence.
Is this Clarence's backstory?
I have no idea. I've never seen it. I actually am kind of interested to seek it out. I don't know how easy it is to find a copy, but did we come up with a 1998 AFI list?
It was number 11.
Oh, so it's never been in the top 10. It was number 11, and then it fell to number 20.
Yep. That is terrible.
Son of a gun.
We argued. I argued for it, Andy. Before I even knew you, I was arguing for you.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, and then 94% fresh should be 100%.
Yeah.
It's 95% audience score.
Should be 100%.
Roger Ebert and Leonard Maltin both give it 4 stars. And I want to say this before we close out, and we're not to New Year's yet, but 2020's been a funky year.
Funky is an interesting adjective.
With coronavirus, with politics, with all that stuff. But I say, be more like George Bailey, be less like Mr. Potter. Please, in 2021, be more like George Bailey and less like Mr. Potter.
Yeah.
It'll make the world a better place.
Let's all watch It's a Wonderful Life, and let's all take some lessons from there and learn that a rising tide lifts all ships, guys. So let's look out for our community, let's look out for our family, and let's do what's best for everyone. And in doing so, we're also going to be doing what's best for us.
Yep.
So I agree with that wholeheartedly. Any last words on It's a Wonderful Life, Kirby? Fantastic. All right, guys, whatever your religious situation is, I hope you have a very good holiday, whether that's Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever that is, however you choose to celebrate this time of year, please do so with the best intentions and with those that you love around you. And we will see you in the near future, next week perhaps, with some more movies from our list of shame. And take this time and enjoy your family, guys, and we'll see you soon. Happy holidays.
Happy everything.
Happy Christmas. Happy holidays.